What is going on, guys? Matt O'Leary here with another video to preview trade deadline day. Today is the day, 4 p.m. Eastern. You have until to make a trade. So it will be a busy day for the New York Jets. Hopefully some housekeeping things. I will be going live today at 3:30. Hopefully in time for a last-minute trade. We'll be discussing just fallout. Kind of like, I don't know if hopefully you've followed along with my free agency live streams where, we kind of just hang out and react to the news. That's kind of what I'm planning to do at 3:30. Second piece of housekeeping before we get into the preview. I think you guys will be excited about this. So any Long Island Jet fans, this is a casual thing. So it's not as official as some of our other stuff in the past, but Jake Asman and I will be hanging out watching Thursday Night Football at the main event in Farmingdale. So if you want to come out and just more of a casual meet and greet, not, so much set up like we had in Ohio for the Hall of Fame or anything like that, but just wanted to put it out there that if you're interested in just hanging with a couple of Long Island Jet fans, Long Island YouTubers, we'll be at the main event watching Thursday Night Football. Okay, let's now get into this exciting time. So we'll start with who on the Jets I think could get moved still at this point today. There are three names that jump out to me as potential trade options for the Jets. The first is Carl Lawson, and I will almost all but guarantee that he is going to get traded at some point today. Who knows? Maybe even at the time of recording this video. It's still early. It's the 8 o'clock hour, and I'm still nervous about recording because I might miss something. Something might happen. So Carl Lawson, I think, is someone who probably is going to get traded. My guess is it's not in a trade for a wide receiver. We've seen that before. Hunter Renfrow, Carl Lawson straight up. We saw that, right? All those rumors. My guess is it is either the Raiders, Cleveland. I think those are the two most likely scenarios for him to go to. And I would think it's going to be a pick swap this year, but a better pick, like Carl Lawson and a sixth for a fourth, something like that. Not a here, take my player and we'll switch a seventh for a sixth in next year's draft. No, like turning a sixth and Carl Lawson into a fourth round pick kind of a thing. That would be my guess. And again, I think the Raiders and the Browns are probably the most likely scenario. And then I'm going to group these two guys together. We'll talk about both, but it's the same position. And that's Devin Cook and Michael Carter. Supposedly the Jets have gotten calls on Michael Carter as well. And I'll be honest with you, just pick one. I understand Carter's younger. He was drafted here and, all that. But he has also been really ineffective. Unfortunately, drops have been a major issue with him. And he just has not looked like that same guy that we saw as a rookie. Now, he's a good locker room guy. Like that, he's a likable guy. He's liked by his teammates. But his effectiveness is not there. So if they chose Devin Cook over Michael Carter, so be it, kind of a thing. That's where I'm at. Or Dalvin Cook, right? Who is clearly, he made it known that he is unhappy with his role. I don't know why he was so surprised that he wasn't going to be getting a ton of carries once Breece Hall was ramped all the way back up, but it is what it is. Again, like I said, pick one. I think move one of them. I don't really have a preference at this point where they could potentially go. They're not going to trade him in division. I was going to say Miami. Like Miami seems like they're pretty interested in a running back. The Ravens potentially. It's hard to help teams in the NFC, right? But those seems like teams that would potentially be interested in adding a running back. You'd have to imagine like Saquon Barkley and I said Dalvin Cook, not Dalvin Cook. Oh my God, help me out. Tennessee Titans running back Derrick Henry. There we go. Thank you, brain. A little slow this morning. They are more than likely going to be on the trade block as well today. So there are some higher end options available out there. But if someone is looking for additional, maybe cheaper options, that's where I think Dalvin and Michael Carter would come in. And that's something similar to what they traded Hardman for. A future pick swap is probably something what you would have to imagine. Okay, now, what can the New York Jets go out and buy? There are two positions that jump out to everyone who are interested in the New York Jets being buyers at this trade deadline. The first is wide receiver, and it is much more likely for them to trade for a wide receiver. So there are more names here, but they're big names. There's not so big names, but you have. I'll run through all the names. We'll talk about each guy. So Davante Adams, Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, Hunter Renfrow, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Paris Campbell, Darius Slayton. Those are the names that jump out to me off the top of my head, and there are varying degrees of skill set there. Davante Adams is obviously the biggest swing, and I would he was just like basically not used. Jimmy Garoppolo and the Raiders offense is putrid. It's just really, really not good. So for Davante Adams, that would be the dream scenario. I don't think that one is super likely. The next group of guys, Jeudy, Sutton, Renfrow, are in like that second tier, which is like a wide receiver 2-3 option, and likely would not cost as much. Hunter Renfrow and Courtland Sutton, we've spent a bunch of time on. And stylistically very different. Courtland Sutton is your red zone target, big body, jump ball guy, where Hunter Renfrow is your slot receiver who can separate a little bit more. If you want to go with the guy who's going to separate, Renfrow's your man. If you want to go, hey, just throw it up and let's see if we can make a play, Courtland Sutton's your guy. And then the kind of, I'll call it the scrap heap, sorry, but Donovan Peoples-Jones, Paris Campbell, Darius Slayton, those are just warm bodies because the Jets need some assistance there badly. They really do. So my prediction, I would love to say that they're going to swing big or like for an Adams, a Jeudy, a Sutton, or a Renfrow. I think it's going to be more of a Donovan Peoples-Jones, Paris Campbell, Darius Slayton kind of range where you're like, okay, they added somebody. I'm happy they added somebody, but is that really what the Jets needed? And then offensive line. Now, offensive line is going to be really, really, really challenging to trade for. Really challenging to trade for. But just in case, let's go with, I got two names who can be like, you could make a case that they could be moved. And probably not most likely if I were, guessing what I think is going to happen. I think the Jets would be more likely to add someone via free agency at the offensive line. So call up Ben Jones, see if he can play. Sign La'el Collins. Something along those lines I think would be the most likely and more likely option for the offensive line. But there's still two names out there who I think has a slim chance of being moved. The first is Ezra Cleveland, the Minnesota guard, who's been solid. He's on the last year of his rookie deal. Now they signed someone to come in and to spell Cleveland when he went down with his foot injury. He's recovering and could be activated. Like, he is ready to be activated, but Dalton Reisner's been stepping in and playing pretty good football for them. So if there's not any interest in bringing back Cleveland off of his rookie contract, maybe that's something that they would look to move. And he has he's played guard. He's a really good run blocker, which hello, that would be a much welcomed addition for this team that likes their identity is to run the football. So Ezra Cleveland, I would imagine, can plug right in at right guard. You hope Joe Tippmann gets healthy soon, and then maybe you're adding La'el Collins for depth, but that makes your life significantly easier. The second option is a tackle. So not perfect, but potentially could slide some people around to make it work, and that's Garrett Bowles, Denver Broncos left tackle. He was a second-team All-Pro in 2020. Apparently, they are open for business. They are open to just selling off as they should be. They are 3-5. I know they just had a crazy win over the Kansas City Chiefs, but they're going nowhere fast. They are in tank mode, and they are in rebuild mode, so maybe they would look to sell something off on the offensive line. So those are names to watch today. Keep a close eye on the trade market. Again, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It comes to a close. We'll have you covered throughout the day. We'll have you covered on the live stream at 3:30. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.